Good morning. Welcome back.
Good morning.
Welcome back on a snowy morning. Perhaps I should have told you this yesterday, but we're open unless the sheriff calls a level 3 snow emergency. So just because school is closed, it certainly doesn't mean we are. So we are on day 2 of our trial, and that is State of Ohio versus Randall J. Ross. And we will commence with, or resume with the state's witnesses. Mr. Mulligan.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state would call Agent David Hammond. Good morning. If you come around here, please, sir.
Do you swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, as you shall answer to God?
I do.
Good morning. Morning, sir. Can you tell us your name and position, please?
My name is David Hammond. I'm a special agent working in the crime scene unit with the Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation.
And you came from where this morning?
From Lima.
Congratulations. Thank you for making it.
Yeah. Nothing like a little white people driving in the morning.
Yes. You are a special agent with BCI, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And how should I address you? Should I call you Special Agent Hammond, Agent Hammond?
You know, it feels weird to be called special anything, so Dave is just fine.
Okay, Dave, I'll call you Dave. Thank you. You have education and experience that qualifies you for the job that you do for BCI, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Could you tell us what the highlights of your education and experience?
Sure. I was a Lima police officer for about 15 years early in my career. 6.5 of those years I did crime scenes for the Lima Police Department. I've been with BCI for about 7 years, and over the course of my career I've attended a lot of schools regarding evidence, crime scene processing, fingerprinting, shooting reconstruction, blood spatter examination. I graduated from community college in Lima with an associate's degree, finishing up my bachelor's degree at Tiffin University now. There's an organization called the International Association for Identification, and through that organization I'm certified as a crime scene investigator. One of 37 people certified in the world as a blood spatter pattern examiner.
How many people in the world?
37 of us.
I think we have a stipulation as to the witness's expertise with respect to crime scene investigation and blood splatter analysis.
We do, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you recall March 27th of 2013?
I do.
And could you tell the jury what you did on that day?
I was called to Ottawa County to a home on, I believe it's pronounced Lutz Road. Is that right? Lutz Road. Detective Harold at the time, Detective Flornow, had called us to the scene of a homicide or a shooting. Myself and Special Agent Chris Hamburg responded to the area to assist them in processing the scene and collecting potential evidence.
Do you know about what time you arrived at the scene?
I want to say it was about 1:23 in the afternoon.
And how long did it take you to process the scene, if you remember?
I don't remember, but I remember being there most of the day.
So it was hours?
Hours.
Part of your, well, what do you do when you process a crime scene? Why don't you take us through that?
One of the most important things that we do is we kind of freeze the scene. We are always cognizant that that crime scene is going to end up right exactly where we're at with nice people like you looking at our photographs and our diagrams. I always tell the new agents that I train that we're not only trying to catch the bad guy, but we're getting ready for trial the day of the scene. We will normally go in, we'll take photographs of the entire scene. We make detailed notes. We'll make sketches of the crime scene. We'll identify potential pieces of evidence, place those into our sketches. A lot of what we do is evidence collection, and then at times we'll do blood spatter interpretation, maybe some shooting reconstruction, anything that's going to help us determine the truth of what happened at that scene.
And is that what you did at this crime scene?
Yes.
Okay. You did prepare a diagram of the crime scene, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Let me show you what has been marked as, excuse me, Your Honor. State's Exhibit 140. Was this the diagram that was prepared at that crime scene?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'll also refer you to this card, which is also marked as State's Exhibit 140. Is this an exact copy, except for being larger, of the Exhibit 140 you have in your hands?
Yes.
Okay. Any objection to marking both States 140?
No.
Okay, thank you. So this is a crime scene diagram that you prepared. What is the significance of the various legends on this diagram?
What we try to do with the crime scene diagrams is to give you a visual representation of what we found and where we found it. With this particular diagram, you'll see some little red dots. That indicates to us that there were blood stains in that area. I used the linear droplets to tell me when I come to court that there were drip stains. There was someone who was bleeding and moving through an area, dropping blood onto the floor. The little red, they look like little feet, are places where we found bloody shoe prints. So E3, E2, and E are bloody shoe prints. As you come around the room that's labeled child's room, in that room we have a number of pieces of evidence that are scattered throughout the room. Inside the door at G, we found a pair of damaged eyeglasses or sunglasses. We found a damaged green camouflage hat. R is kind of hard to see. It's marking the wall there, and that's where I believe a bullet impacted the wall. It didn't go through it. It impacted and continued to move up.
If you'd like to come over to the diagram and point these things out,
Sure.
you're welcome to do that. Let me take the small one from you. Sure. Here's a pen if you want to point with it.
Going back to R, this is where a bullet impacted the wall, didn't go through it. S is a position on the ceiling where a bullet impacted the ceiling and continued on into the attic space. At H, we located an unfired bullet. So this is a bullet, it would be a complete one that hadn't been fired. P is where we located a bullet casing. So the bullet had been fired from that specific cartridge, and what we had left was just the casing that had been ejected from the handgun. In this area right here, which is Q, there was a volume of dropped or dripped blood. In my mind, it was where someone who had been bleeding had kind of stayed in that area, and there was a volume of blood that impacted the floor. And right in that area, we located a piece of the eyeglasses. This eyeglass located at G had been missing one of the eyepieces, the portion that goes behind your ear, and we located what I believe is that that eyepiece right there at Q. I and J are both where teeth were found. And K was another fired cartridge casing. It was a casing that the bullet had been fired out of and had been ejected from the handgun. O is where we located a fired bullet. It was damaged, and we located it there on the floor. We used L to note the position of Mrs. Ross, the deceased. And then N was a bullet hole in the window, at a very low point in the window, at the very bottom left-hand corner. And M was where we found what looked to be like a pair of women's eyeglasses.
Okay. This scene was undisturbed by you, correct? You added the letters, but other than adding these legends throughout the diagram, it was exactly as you found it when you arrived at the scene.
Correct.
Okay. For each of these areas, you have a number of pictures depicting in reality what you found that you diagrammed. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. I'm going to show you some of the pictures. You can stand there if you'd like, or you can take the witness stand, whichever you're more comfortable with. I'll show you the pictures first while we're getting them wound up, so you can acquaint yourself with those. Joe, you need the TV on. Looks like you got it. Looks like it's off now, Joe. Now it's blinking. Okay, I'll show you State's Exhibit 34. Could you tell me what that is a picture of?
This is a photograph of a portion of the floor, and it's right outside of the child's bedroom on the diagram. The photograph looks a little weird, or the shoe print looks a little weird. Whenever we encounter a bloody shoe print, a lot of times we're not able to visualize it very well because at times they can be faint. So this photograph shows a process that we call, it's just to enhance the blood, we add leucocrystal violet. The leucocrystal violet reacts with the blood. Anywhere where there's a shoe print or a fingerprint, it turns that bloody print purple. Helps us to visualize things. It makes it just easier to see. And that's a photograph of.
So this is a shoe print that has been enhanced.
Correct, sir.
And that is shoe print E, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Which would be right here where I'm pointing.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Show you what has been marked as State's Exhibit 35 and ask you about that photograph.
This is another shoe print that we found. The shoe print is a little further around the corner of the staircase there.
Would that be in the area I'm pointing to now?
Yes, sir.
On State's Exhibit 140?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And has this been enhanced as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Show you what has been marked as State's Exhibit 36.
This is another shoe print. It's also been enhanced with Lugo Crystal Violet. We marked that as E3, and on the diagram you see it. We're coming out from that child's bedroom, making a left, walking along that staircase there. That's where we found that at.
Can you determine the direction of travel of these footprints?
From more of a layman's type of opinion, regular guy kind of opinion, the shoe print looked like it was moving from the child's bedroom, like they were going to walk alongside that staircase and then move down the stairs.
So the footprints are going this way?
In my opinion, yes.
Okay. And this is, the stairs come up from the bottom and they go down from the top here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. State's Exhibit 41. What are we looking at there?
This is a photograph, and you see in the top right-hand corner, you see the banister, the railing, and you can just see the staircase there, and you can see the wood railing between the two white spindles there. We've used placard F to identify an unfired bullet that was found right underneath that railing. If in the top left-hand corner is the entrance to the child's bedroom, and you begin to see the shoe print there. If you come down from F towards the lower left-hand corner right there where the State's Exhibit 41 is, you'll see that footprint is nice and red, and that's prior to treatment with the Lugo Crystal Violet.
State's Exhibit 42.
That's a close-up shot of area F. That's the same the banister, the railing there, and that's the unfired bullet that we located there.
And you would have gathered that up as evidence?
Yes, sir.
And State's Exhibit 43.
This is a photograph of the staircase leading up to the second floor. You see that same railing area. You may be able to see that placard F documenting the location of that unfired bullet right there. Just kind of gives you a picture of the position of the child's bedroom, which is up the stairs, around that railing, and then you would enter the child's bedroom there to the right.
And State's Exhibit 47. What are we looking at there?
This is a photograph of an unfired bullet. We marked that with placard H. That would have been located inside the child's bedroom, close to that closet door.
Is it right where I'm? H is, this is the letter H, and it's pointing to this circle with an accent.
Yes, sir.
And the circle with the accent would be where you found that unfired bullet.
Correct, sir.
Okay. How many unfired bullets did you find, if you remember?
I believe 2.
2. And how many, you found unfired bullets in the magazine of the gun?
Correct.
There were
6.
6. Show you what has been marked as State's Exhibit 58. What is significant about that exhibit?
This is an additional unfired, or a fired cartridge casing. It was found inside the child's bedroom, close to an area of blood. And if you notice on the diagram, it's illustrated with placard P. Right in that area, sir.
So there's a P here, and then there, looks like a diagram of a shell casing. Is that the location where that casing was found?
Yes, sir.
And this area also shows some blood. Could you describe what your expertise tells you about that blood?
Yes, sir. This is an area where you see nice, big, fat droplets of blood. They're symmetrical, they're circular. And as someone who looks at blood, what it tells me is that there was a source of blood, and that source of blood dripped that blood onto the ground. It's a passive drop. Passive drops normally are larger, 4 or 5 millimeters in diameter. We know that it's hitting at close to 90 degrees because as you begin to throw or cast blood at other angles, as the angle decreases from 90 to 80, those stains become more elliptical and the tails begin to point. So in my mind, that's where someone who was bleeding was standing over the surface of that floor and continuously dripping blood into that area.
This shell casing at P, did you note the caliber or make of the ammunition?
If my memory is right, it's a .40 caliber Blazer type of ammunition.
Is that the same ammunition that you found throughout?
Yes.
Was there any different caliber, any different make of .40 caliber?
No, sir.
So it was all the same caliber and all the same make of ammunition?
Correct.
Show you what has been marked as State's Exhibit 63. What does State's Exhibit 63 depict?
This is a fired bullet that we located inside the child's room. We identified it with placard O, and that would have been at the end of the bed in the child's room on the diagram.
So here is the legend O. There's the word bullet under it, and then there's a gray circle. Is the gray circle actually where the bullet was found?
Yes, sir.
Were you able to determine at the scene the caliber of that bullet?
No, we have very smart people at the laboratory that will weigh that and examine it. And, you know, a lot of times for us as crime scene investigators, a 9 and a 40, when it's all kind of mashed up like that and it's been fired, it's pretty hard to tell at times.
Does your expertise allow you to give an opinion as to the path that that bullet took to get there? If not, that's fine.
I know that from the scene examination, it's my opinion that there were likely 3 shots fired in that room. My belief is that O is the result of a deflection at, if I can point to the diagram. My own opinion is that O is the result of deflecting off the wall at R. One of the shots passed through the victim and I believe exited at the window at N. S, which was a perforation in the ceiling, went into the attic space and left. So the obvious conclusion would be, you know, we have 3 fired cartridge casings, we have 3 wound paths or bullet paths, that the bullet at O, by reason of default or elimination, would have probably resulted from the defect at R. Can I say that with 100% certainty? No. But that would be my best guess or best estimate.
I think we'll eventually come to a photo of that defect at R, and when we do, if you could point that out. That
Yep.
You can have your seat again if you'd like. Can I show you what has been marked as State's Exhibit 75? Can you tell us about that exhibit?
This is a fired cartridge casing. It was located in the closet of the child's bedroom, identified with placard K.
And that would be where I'm pointing on State's Exhibit 140, correct?
Yes, sir.
Were these on top of the box? Please work properly. These are from the other day. Okay. I'll show you what has been marked as State's Exhibit 6. So far, have the photos that you've seen accurately depict the scene that you visited on the 27th of March?
It does.
Okay. If any of the photos do not, could you let us know?
I will.
Okay. I will show you State's Exhibit 6 now and ask if you can identify that exhibit.
This is a photograph from the back door of the home, and it's depicting the front door area. The front door area of this home enters into the kitchen, and it's showing an open door. It's kind of a washed out photograph a little bit. One thing that you'll note on that front door is that there was damage to the front door itself.
I'll show you the exhibit in hand, and if you could describe the damage to the door.
Sure. In the photograph, you note that the door has a handle locking mechanism. There doesn't appear to be any, like a deadbolt lock. And what I noted was that locking mechanism was pushed forward, and the side of the door had been kind of blown out or kind of splintered and pushed out. When we examined the front door of the home, we didn't find any shoe prints per se where the door had been kicked, but from examining the door, it was obvious that there was some type of force that was applied to the door, and then it pushed the door in.
Okay. You can just push that up on top of the box. State's Exhibit 7. There's another view with an E in it, and there's also the letter G, center top. What would that G represent?
This is a photograph that kind of connects that hallway bedroom to the child's bedroom, and you see the footprints at E, and then it shows a relationship between the door to the child's bedroom, and G shows us where the camouflage hat and the damaged glasses in an area of blood were located.
And that would be this area right here, next to the depiction of the hat and glasses.
Yes, sir.
State's Exhibit 8.
This is another photograph of that area at the top of the stairs. It shows the area F where the unfired bullet was located, and that entrance to the child's bedroom.
So that little piece of a yellow tag would be this tag here at F that I'm pointing to on State's Exhibit 140.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And that is essentially a view of the same thing, but a little further to the left.
Correct, sir.
Okay. That's State's Exhibit 9. Okay, State's Exhibit 11. Can you tell us what it is?
This is a photograph that was taken inside of the child's bedroom. On the diagram, State's Exhibit, I believe it's 140, you'll note that there's a placard M and a placard N. This photograph corresponds with the diagram. In the bottom left-hand corner of the window there, you'll notice that it looks a little, there's a circle there, and that's where we located a possible bullet hole. It was damage to the window that was consistent with a bullet passing through the window.
Okay, and is that, I'll show you now what is labeled as State's Exhibit 12. Is that a close-up of that bullet hole then?
Yes, sir.
What is the significance of the ruler to the left of the bullet hole?
It just gives us an idea of how far off the ground the bullet was when it passed through the window. We're right at about 17 inches there, and then just for reconstruction or documentation purposes, gives us an idea where it was.
Did you perform any operations with respect to this bullet hole?
We did.
Was that hole through a single pane of glass or more than one, if you remember?
I remember we had difficulty with establishing a further trajectory. Our goal was to locate the bullet outside in the yard or in the grass. And if memory serves me correctly, I think it was a single pane of glass, and we were trying to use a screen on the outside of the window to thread a trajectory rod through. When you have holes that size, there's a lot of play that begins to factor into it. And so we can sometimes estimate where it's going to go, but it's not always for certain. So what we did was we threaded a trajectory rod with a laser on the end, turned the laser on, and then we scoured the yard with metal detectors trying to find that bullet.
Were you successful?
We were not.
State's Exhibit 62. It's a different angle of the area of bullet hole N and M, the location of the glasses, correct?
Correct.
Is there anything additionally significant about this picture that you have not discussed with regard to the other pictures of this area?
I don't believe so, sir.
Okay. Now we have State's Exhibit 61. We've got a whole lot of tags going on there. Could you tell us about State's 61?
Sure.
And if you need to go over here.
Yes, please. Can I steal yours? Make sure I get this back to you.
Okay.
In the top left-hand corner of the photograph, you see the pants and shoes of the victim. We used L as an identifier to place her in the scene, her location.
Now then, those, she is laying there. Those aren't just a pair of pants and shoes. She is there, right?
Correct.
Okay.
It was apparent that they had tried to do some medical intervention, but they had deemed that she had passed the scene. One of the things that happens at crime scenes is that if you pass at a scene, they leave you there. So as we worked the scene, the victim was there, and that allowed us to do some examinations and some other things to help us assess the scene. Moving away from L, you'll see a few things laying on the floor. Those were medical waste issues, a syringe, and some packaging, some other things that were used probably by the EMTs to try to resuscitate the victim. You'll see a kind of a gray shirt and a little flower. Right in that area right there, you see I, which is the tooth. And then you also see area O, which is in the center bottom portion of the photograph. That's where we located the fired bullet at. In the area, bottom right-hand corner, you see that volume of blood with all of those drip stains where someone had stood for a little bit or been in that area and dripped blood onto the floor. Moving up you see the closet opening. And right in that closet opening is placard J and placard K. J is another tooth. K is our fired cartridge casing. And right at the right edge, there you go. I think that's Q. That's what we use to identify the area of blood, and then the eyepiece of the glasses.
All right. State's Exhibit 60. Can you describe what is depicted in that scene?
This is a photograph, and it's showing this area of the closet, in this area. You're beginning to see some of this wall right in this area. Placard P and G is visible, and then Q, I believe, there at the very bottom. P, again, is the cartridge casing. G is the hat and the eyeglass and the area of blood right in that corner.
I'm looking at a blue wall, and the top of the blue wall has the evidence sticker 60 on it, State's Exhibit 60 on it.
Mm-hmm.
There appears to be some staining on that wall. You were there. Do you know what? Did you take note of what that was?
Are you talking fairly low on the blue wall?
Yes.
That was an area that looked to me like it was a transfer stain. Anytime something gets bloody and you begin to contact a wall or a surface with something bloody, it leaves kind of an imprint or a transfer of that bloody item onto the wall. And it had a textured type of an appearance. I'm not sure if it was clothing, but something in that area that was soaked with blood made contact with that wall.
So it appeared to be like a transfer from bloody clothing.
It could have been, or something else that had kind of a textured appearance.
Okay. Now that's in this area. There is a door at that juncture, isn't there?
There is.
Okay. And I think we see the door on the left-hand side of the picture, and there are two dashes there. Those would be the hinges to the door?
Yes, sir.
And that door would open and would actually cover those stains if it were open, right?
Correct.
Okay, so if the door were open at the time some clothing fell into there or something, then the stains would be on the other side of the door as opposed to that wall.
Correct.
Okay. So what does that tell you about the stains?
The stains that we located inside that bedroom door indicated to me that that door had been shut at the time of the blood shed events.
Are there other indications besides the staining on the blue wall that indicate to you that the door was shut?
Yes.
And what were those?
You had the staining on the wall, on the blue wall. The second area was found right at the bottom edge of that door. And what you begin to see is a spatter pattern.
Let me show you what has been marked as State's Exhibit 51, see if this is what you're talking about.
Yes.
Okay.
This is a photograph of that door that leads into the child's bedroom. And what you begin to see there is a collection of stains. That collection of stains is all kind of moving out from like a centralized location. The stains have directionality, they have nice tails to them. They have a good range of sizes between 1 and 3 millimeters. And what that tells me is that at that point in the room, there was some type of an event that affected an area of blood and moved it away from the pool of blood. In blood spatter, the whole premise of the idea is you have a static pool of blood, you apply some type of a force to it, and the blood moves out. We know that it moves out, and if we follow the tails always point in the direction that the blood is moving. I can draw lines through the tails, through the center of the stains, and what you begin to do is you begin to see this funnel, and we call it the point of convergence. Where those lines converge for that area is the best estimate for me of where that blood originated from. So in order to have that stain pattern on the back of the door, we have to have something in that area, a pool of blood or a source of blood that's been affected by some type of a force to broadcast or send that blood out. It's fairly low to the ground and it's back in that corner. So if that door is open, or if that door is open and it's resting against that blue wall, it's virtually impossible to get that blood to come out from that corner.
On State's Exhibit 59, whoever did, is there anything else significant about State's Exhibit 59 that we have not discussed then?
No, sir.
Okay. Let me show you State's Exhibit 68. And ask you, what is that? What are we seeing in State's Exhibit 68?
Okay. This is a photograph, and it's of that door. And there's a couple things in this photograph to note. We talked a little bit about when that blood is broadcast or sent out from that static pool of blood. And we talked about the tails pointing in the directions that the blood is moving. So what that gives me a chance to do is, when we examined the ceiling, I noted a number of these stains that were pushing out right from that silver wall there towards us. So what I had a chance to do was to take a yardstick and to draw a line through the tail and through the center of the blood stain. And what you see is, you see the lines that I drew coming back to what I call like a point of convergence. That circle at the end of those lines is my best guess, or my best estimate of where that source of blood was when the bloodshed event took place. So that kind of gives me a position of, out of this whole scene, where is this source of blood at when that event takes place. You'll notice that in the wall, just right to the right, or I'm sorry, the ceiling, just to the right of the circle that I drew is the bullet that perforated the wall at S. So that's in fairly close proximity to where that bullet went up through the ceiling. The other thing to note in this picture is that you can see the edge of the doorway. One of the other things that kind of spoke to me at the scene about whether the door was shut or open when the bloodshed events took place is that there aren't any blood stains along the edge of that door. Had it been open, or had it been open in that close proximity to where that bloodshed event took place and that bullet went into the ceiling, I would have expected that there would have been some staining along the edge of that door, and I didn't see any.
Those lines that we're seeing in this exhibit, you actually drew those on the ceiling of the room.
I did.
And where on the floor, in relation to the convergence of those lines, is the pool of blood that we've been talking about?
I believe that point of convergence came right back to this back edge of this pool of blood there on the floor.
And I show you what has been marked as State's Exhibit 57. What are we seeing in that exhibit?
Can you repeat the question, sir?
What are we seeing in State's Exhibit 57? I'm sorry.
That's all right. Again, this is just a photograph of the floor of the child's bedroom. There's a number of placards, O, I, P, and H that we've talked about in previous photographs.
Okay, and State's Exhibit 50 looks to be like a closer view of the blue wall that we had talked about with the transverse blood stain.
Yes.
And that, is that blood on depicted on State's Exhibit 50?
To the best of my knowledge, at the scenes, we use either phenolphthalein or TMB, which is tetramethylbenzidine, and we do presumptive tests at the scene. Both of those tests react to the iron or the heme in blood. We usually swab it onto a little swab, drop a chemical and then an oxidizer, which is hydrogen peroxide, onto the swab, and it turns a specific color, blue for TMB and pink for phenolphthalein. Just lets us know that at the scene an initial test is that it's a good chance that this is blood. In order to be able to say it's blood, you have to be a DNA analyst or a scientist to say it's blood, but it looked like blood to me.
And this area up here, it may be a little difficult to see on the TV screen on State's Exhibit 50, but does it appear to be like blood dripping down the wall there?
There's a really kind of odd stain pattern above it where it looks like something has run down. It wasn't a pattern that I was comfortable calling anything. I don't know that we tested it. It may be unrelated to the scene. It may have been where a pop spilled or something happened on that wall, but I don't remember testing it to see if it was blood, and it wasn't anything that I looked at that looked like a pattern, a blood spatter pattern for me to examine.
Okay. And State's Exhibit 72 with the letters J and K.
This is a photograph of the inside of the closet in this area. Again, J is where we found a tooth, and K is where we found cartridge casing.
There's also a tooth at I where there are 2 teeth found.
Yes, sir.
Again, so far, all of these pictures accurately portray what you saw on that day.
Yes, sir.
Very good. Okay, I will try to get the orientation right. This is State's Exhibit 67. Can you tell us what we're looking at there?
This is a photograph of the blue wall. It's going to be inside the door of the child's bedroom, right above the blue wall. And you see a hole there, and that was consistent with a bullet passing through the ceiling. A little lower and to your left, just slightly above 67, is a portion of the wall that had been damaged. It was
Right here?
Yes, sir. Something visually consistent in my mind with a bullet impacting the wall and creating some damage in that drywall, but not going through the drywall.
And is this defect that you're talking about, is that the one that you, in your opinion, is that defect was made by the bullet O?
That's my best estimate.
Okay. Your Honor, a little housekeeping. For the record, those exhibits that are put back on the court's bench have been previously admitted, but were testified to. Now, these exhibits have not been previously admitted. I'll keep them separate until we discuss those. Okay. Just keep it. It's Exhibit 69. Looks like a square hole in the ceiling. And how did that get there, if you know?
This is area S. This is where I believe a bullet passed through the ceiling. The hole looks square a lot of times because what happens with bullets is that after they pass through materials, whether it's a body or some other item, a lot of times what they lose is a stabilization. When a bullet comes out of the barrel, it's generally doing a tight kind of path. And a lot of times what happens is after it passes through the body, a body or another material, what happens is the nose of the bullet and the back end begin to tumble, almost like you're kind of rolling a snowball down a hill, you know, riding. You know. So what happens is what we get is what we call a keyhole. And a keyhole a lot of times looks like you've taken a bullet and you've got the nose of the bullet here and you've got the back of the bullet here, and what you do is you push it through the wall. And the defect at S was what I see as a bullet that had been destabilized and it had hit sideways into that ceiling as opposed to going nose first.
What, if anything, did you do with relation to the other side of that hole?
We removed part of the ceiling and we looked at the ceiling rafters above it. And it was pretty obvious that the ceiling rafters above it had been damaged. A lot of times what happens when bullets get into attic spaces, sometimes they can bounce off of the rafters, sometimes they can embed into the rafters. And unfortunately we have to kind of make a decision as to whether we want to completely destroy someone's attic, ripping all the insulation out, or like removing boards and creating a lot of chaos in order to find a bullet. In this case, we decided not to. We had a fired bullet at O, and we had fired cartridge casings. So I made the tactical decision not to try to recover that bullet any further and damage the house any further.
States 66, and then states 65. Is 65 a close-up of 66?
Yes, sir.
And that would be the deformity in the wall as opposed to the ceiling, correct?
Correct.
At R?
Yes, sir.
Okay, states 45. We've got a G and an H there, and what do those denote?
This is going to be that back corner. This is going to be that corner inside of that child's bedroom with the door shut. G is going to point out to us the green camouflage baseball hat and the damaged sunglasses, the damaged glasses. You see that blood transfer on a blue ball. H is an unfired bullet that we collected, and that would have been one of the laser .40 caliber bullets that we located.
And states 108. It's like an interesting picture of what's depicted there.
I have to apologize for the quality of the picture. Sometimes it's hard to take photographs in the attic spaces. This is one of the ceiling rafters where we believe that the bullet that passed through the ceiling impacted the rafter and either deflected out or it's embedded in that wood.
Stage 37.
This is a close-up photograph of one of the shoe prints that had been enhanced with the leucocrystal violet that we located in the hallway between the child's bedroom and the staircase.
Stage 54. What are we looking at there?
That is one of the teeth that we located inside the child's bedroom. That would be at area I.
State's Exhibit 33. And I understand that you may not have taken that picture, a composite picture. There may be a composite of pictures that you took.
Oh, I don't know.
Does it accurately portray the scene as you saw it?
It does. It does. It shows the staircase leading up to the second floor. It shows the second bedroom and the upstairs, and then the green floors, the banisters, and the shoe prints and blood on the floor. Yes, it does.
And the shoe prints would have come out of here, pointed this way, and come down, and then around to the stairwell. Is that correct?
We had really good shoe prints along this part of the banister, and then this one. And as they progressed, then they diminished. But yes, it would have been in that direction.
See what has been marked as States 105. Can you tell us what we're looking at there?
This is a photograph of the camouflage hat that we located at placard E, right inside the child's bedroom. And that was kind of along the top there, right beside between 3 and 4 on the ruler, on the top side of it. You'll see that some of the fabric and some of the materials kind of pushed out. Looking at the hat, it looked like there had been a bullet or something that passed through that portion of the bill of the hat.
Okay, if I show you States Exhibit 106, would that be the hat from the bottom up then?
Correct.
Different view? And that same deformity is shown in the sort of upper left-hand corner?
Yes.
Okay. And then we have the back view of the hat. At States Exhibit 107, correct?
Correct, sir.
Do you recognize the scene that's depicted in States Exhibit 94?
Yes, sir. That's the photograph of the front of the home where the incident took place.
And States Exhibit 95?
This is an area of the driveway. There was a silver light-colored Buick that was parked in front of a white Chevy 4x4 truck. This is an area of suspected blood between the truck and the Buick. We've used placard A to identify a dark colored sweatshirt. It had like a logo, and I think it said like Sled Mix on the front of the sweatshirt.
And is this a closer picture of that, close-up picture of that sweatshirt?
Yes,
State
sir.
Exhibit 96?
Yes, sir.
Do you know whether or not that sweatshirt had been rolled up, perhaps to use as a pillow or something like that?
I don't know about that. I know it was I know that we had to take it apart or unfold it to see the logo on the front of it, but I'm not sure.
So that would be the unfolded view of the...
Yes.
Okay. And State's Exhibit 97, what are we seeing here?
This is a view of the two windows of the child's bedroom from the outside. One of the windows is open on the right. The left window is where we had placard N, I believe, and that's where the bullet came through the window.
In this area right here?
Yes, sir. The bottom right-hand corner of the window as we look at it.
Is there any significance that you know of about the other window?
No, sir.
Let's leave this. Show you what has been marked as States 26. What are we looking at in that photo?
This is a photograph of the front door. Obviously, it's taken kind of long ways. This is the exterior of the door. The little stickers that you see are areas that we photographed and developed latent prints on. That's why the door itself is discolored. We've applied a dark fingerprint powder to the exterior of the door in hopes of developing some prints. There's a couple areas that we did. So we placed a scale underneath the prints, and then we took macro photographs of the prints to enlarge them.
And could you tell the jury whether or not you found any shoe prints on the door?
We didn't locate any shoe prints per se.
And State's Exhibit 27.
This is a photograph of the damage to the door. It appears that this is a photograph that was taken prior to the fingerprint processing, and it shows that locking mechanism of the door pushed forward and then the side of the door to be splintered and damaged.
May I approach the bench?
Yes. We're going to take a 15-minute break at this point. So 5 after 10, be back in your seats. All right, thank you.